Book tag, woo! Today on the Books You Know, we're going to be doing the 2 books tag from Kelli Reads A Lot. She did this originally, made it up herself. Pretty cool stuff. Someday, you'll get one of my, everybody's going to do mine. Probably, maybe. So, the first question, we're just going to roll right into it. Actually, let's scoot back a second. And I thought I would wait to do this one until that I actually hit my 2-month mark, because it was kind of like a 2-month booktube tag thing. So this will come out on the day that I hit my 2-month mark, which is July the 1st, which, I think the first video I did was May 1st. So 2 months. So I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty stoked that I'm still here and doing this, which is fun. So let's just roll right into it. The first question is 2 books that I've recently read. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Black Flame by Will White. It's the 3rd book in the Cradle series. And the first 2 books, decent, liked them. 3rd book, awesome, fun, fast, furious. There's a new character in it. It's just like a giant bipedal turtle that breathes fire. Super fun. Loved it. It's like a martial arts, fast, action-packed, progressive fantasy. So like the main character, Lyndon, he keeps like leveling up as the story goes along. So he just keeps on becoming more and more powerful. Very anime-ish. I love anime, so it's definitely something that I've been enjoying the whole time. And this 3rd one just like turned it up a notch. And I've been watching some other YouTubers. I've been watching some other booktubers, and they say that it just keeps on getting more and more and more and fun and more fun and more fun and more fun. So like definitely gonna continue reading this series. Can't wait for book number 4, which I already have, so I'm excited. The other book that I read just recently was Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And I had a full review on this one, so if you really want to see what it was all about, that was my last video. I actually reviewed it against the movie Blade Runner, which is based off of this book. And I really enjoyed both. I just thought that it was a very good sci-fi book in and of itself. It also left me with questions about what exactly humanity is, and it really made me think. So definitely a good book. Really enjoyed it. So we're on to question number 2 out of 5. So 2 books that are nostalgic to you. And the first one would have to be Hatchet by Gary Paulson. I just really loved that book growing up. It's about a boy who is flying in a two-seater plane with the pilot, and the plane goes down. The pilot dies, it crashes into a lake. He survives, and it's his story of how he continues to survive in the wilderness by himself. And as a younger kid, I just thought it was amazing. I loved it. It really I don't know. It's one of those books when you're a kid, you're like, I want to do that, and you're and then you think back and you're like, I don't want to do that. That's crazy. But the survival part of it was fun for me as a kid. So the other book that makes me nostalgic, I would definitely have to say, is The Giver by Lois Lowry. And I just really loved that book growing up. It's a book about how in the future, our society, they pretty much taken away all of our sensory abilities. You can still see, but you can't see color. And nobody can be different, so that nobody hates each other, which is kind of a little bit of a theme here on the list, because I'll get to that on the next question. But then there's one boy who is chosen to become like the next giver. I think that's what they're called. I think that's why the book is called that. And it's this position where the person that is the giver gives you like all of their memories of like the past of like our history, like of humanity's history. And so he gets all those memories and it changes him. And then the story goes on from there, but it was beautiful. I thought it was just a absolutely wonderful story, and definitely I want to go back and like read the whole series because it was one of my favorite books. And I found out just a few years ago that there's a full series, and I meant to like go and get them all. I just never did. So this list actually made me think about it again, and I'll definitely read them eventually. 2 books. Okay. Question number 3. 2 books you read in school that you want to read again. The first one is Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut. And this is why I was talking about how it's kind of a little bit of a theme. In this short story, everybody isn't allowed to be like different again. Like you can't achieve more than anybody else, but in a weird way, like ballerinas had like weights strapped to them so that they would be clumsy. Beautiful people would have to like wear masks so that they weren't so beautiful. They were like just plain, I guess. And then there's this man who, well, actually almost like a teenager, I think, who is in prison because he violated some things, something like that. And he breaks out and he calls himself the emperor, and he tells everyone that they don't have to live this way, things like that. And it's a very short story. So pretty much when I like looked it up, it was like I read it again. So does that count? I Wikipedia it. But I remember really enjoying the story. So that's the first one that I would like to reread. And then the second one is John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath. And I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, because when I read it in high school, and I don't like to use this word often, I hated it. I hated it so much. It was the most boring book I'd ever read in my life at the time. But I have changed quite a bit. It's been over 20 years since I've been in high school. So, I feel like maybe I'm more of an adult. I do understand that I still read for pleasure and fun most of the time. So maybe I still wouldn't like it, but I feel like maybe my feelings have changed on it. If I were to read it again, maybe I wouldn't find it so dry and boring. And the story is one of a family who has to like migrate across the country and do migratory like hand picking labor and things like that back in the Depression and the Dust Bowl era. So like people were just like dying in the book, and everybody was sad all the time. And I was just like, this book is depressing and I don't like it. So maybe it's just like because I was young. I feel like some of these books that they make you read in high school, they're not for kids. And maybe they'd be more for me, like today. So I really do feel like maybe I would get more pleasure out of reading the book now, and maybe more like insight into it. So that's that question. Now, on to question number 4. 2 books you have wanted to read. And the first book is The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding. And this book, when I first started looking at booktube channels, was being recommended back then, probably like a year ago. It was explained as like a twist-ish thing, like on Lord of the Rings. And I couldn't help myself. I had to get it. It sounded great. There were some booktubers that really recommended it highly, and it just sounded like a lot of fun. The only problem was maybe I was in the wrong headspace. When I first started to read it, I got like maybe 10 pages in, and I was just, it wasn't that it was boring, it was just that maybe I had some reading fatigue at the time, but I do want to go back and I want to read it because it just seems like something I would love. The second book on books I've wanted to read, and this one should be a crowd pleaser, John Gwynn's Malice. Mostly because ever since I've been on BookTube, John Gwynn's name has just been everywhere. And I still haven't read a single book by him. That's the only one I own. And so I really want to read that one. It just, everything about his writing seems like something I would want to read. It's Viking-ish, old gods, and apparently the endings to his books have so much, like, they're so like full of satisfaction, I guess you would say. Like everything's paid off and just amazing at the end of his books. And if there's anything that it's one of the big things that I love in books. If like the ending is just like good, like I want to read that. Like especially the way that everybody talks about John Gwynn and his ending. So like, yeah, I want like really awesome climaxes and good finishes to books. So that's question number 4. And now question number 5, the last question. We're going with 2 hyped books you will probably read. And I have these on my shelves also. The last like month and a half, maybe 2 months, I've heard a lot about The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. I don't know much about this book. It's about a thief, maybe. I don't know, perhaps. Actually, I've read the back. Yes, it's about a thief. But, I mean, I really got this book when I first saw it because, I mean, look at that cover. So pretty. I love the black and the yellow. Just the way the art is done. Just absolutely beautiful. And I haven't really seen any reviews yet. Maybe they're out there, but I don't really want to spoil it for myself. But, you know, it seems like it's going to be something I'll enjoy. And the last book is The Starless Crown by James Rollins. Yeah, James Rollins. No idea what this book is about. On the inside, it says, "Who will claim the Starless Crown?" So obviously somebody's trying to ascend to a throne or something like that. Maybe there's politics in it. Not exactly sure. Again, I bought this book because it was so pretty. And then I have seen a few booktubers lately talking about it. Maybe I'm just pretending like I have, but I really want to read it. But I also had another booktuber, shout out to Dominish, who said, "Hey, I saw that on your shelf. Have you read it?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't read it." He's like, "Well, let me know how it is when you're done." So I definitely want to read it. Definitely want to have my thoughts on it out there. It, like I said, really pretty. And once again, probably something I'll enjoy. So, I really enjoyed doing these questions. I have a few other tags I need to get to really quickly here, and hopefully I can get them out within like the first half of July. I hope you guys enjoyed my answers to these questions, and I would like to tag Chris Mohan. Really have been enjoying his content lately, and hopefully he'll enjoy doing this video. I know he's been on BookTube a lot longer than 2 months, but before he started really focusing on BookTube, he was more of a movie guy, and I appreciate that too. So I'd like to shout him out, tag him, and then I'd also like to tag Chattie the Mad Chatter. Her videos are awesome. She's been having a few technical difficulties with her stuff lately, so she was doing like these one-shot videos, which I'm flabbergasted that she can do that. I edit my videos into the ground, so props to her, and I hope that she'll enjoy doing this tag also. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Keep on having fun, keep reading books, and have a magical day. Which, I guess we can do it. They're going to have their eardrums blasted, though.